What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Tap. My name is Michael, and it's a pleasure having you guys. We really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we really appreciate the support. If you could just do us a quick favor and hit that subscribe button and click the like button to this video. Also, don't forget to hit the little bell icon. That way you're notified every time we drop a new video. If you're listening to us via podcast, then if you could rate and review us, that'd be amazing. It would really help. So we truly appreciate the support. But tonight I'm going to be getting into round 4. It's round 4 of our round by round breakdown. Rounds 1, 2, and 3 have been released, so go check those out if you haven't already. But round 4 is going to be interesting. It's funny, I found a lot of these players I was kind of fading. There's a few I love, a few I don't like at all. So let's jump into it right away. And I just want to remind you before we jump into it, this is just going off of ADPs. Okay. So just because it's a round 4 breakdown and this is their average draft position doesn't mean they're always going to be there in round 4. ADPs are going to change between now and the continuation of draft season, but it gives you a good idea on where these players are going, and what we think of them and what we think and how you should look at them, I guess. So without further ado, let's jump into it. First guy on our list is Chris Carson, currently going ADP of 38.9, running back 17. Last year, he did finish as the running back 17. One thing I like about Chris Carson is he has that tremendous upside, especially in that Seahawks offense. Last year through week 7, if you remember, they had a week 5 bye, a week 6 bye, and partially he only played partially of week 7 because he got injured in that game against the Cardinals. But through those first 7 weeks, he was the running back 11. He was killing it. He was killing it in the passing game and had a great run game going as well. So he's got that upside. He's an efficient runner, posted 4.83 yards per carry last season. And like I said, he was getting involved in that pass game. So the only issue, or one of the biggest issues with Chris Carson is, and it's probably why he's going so late, is the fact that he hasn't played a full season yet. But I love him here. If you can get him as your running back 3, that'd be amazing. I am comfortable with him as my running back 2. He's got top 10 running back upside, but has a nice, consistent running back 2 floor. So I love Chris Carson this year. And to be honest, he's a potential league winner. This guy, if you can get him in round 4 and round 3, he could potentially help you win your league. So get Chris Carson. Moving on, his teammate, Tyler Lockett, ADP 39.2, wide receiver 17, finished as the wide receiver 9 last year, but it didn't feel like it. He had 10 finishes last year out of the top 30, outside of the top 30 wide receivers. Like I said, he had some massive games. You played him almost week in and week out because he has that boom and bust potential. We've seen it, but he hurt you in a lot of weeks. So to be honest, this year I'm not going to play that guessing game. I'm fading Tyler Lockett. I love when he booms. Obviously, it's great. You win your week, but when he doesn't, and he doesn't give me that consistent floor, I don't like it. If I could draft him a couple rounds later, 5th, 6th round, I'm all over that, because at that point you're drafting your flex players, and I think he's a great flex option, but he's not being drafted as a flex option. So that's why I'm fading Tyler Lockett this year. Next, we got another wide receiver, Chris Godwin. We've got a few wide receivers in a row here, actually. But Chris Godwin, ADP of 39.4, wide receiver 18 off the board. Last year, he finished as the wide receiver 32. He did miss 4 games. He only played 12. And in those 12 games, though, he did finish as the wide receiver 15 in points per game. He posted 13.2 points per game last year. I would take him over Tyler Lockett, but I'm not targeting Chris Godwin this year. With all the other weapons in that offense, his ceiling is capped, and he only finished as a wide receiver 1 2 times last year. So that just shows me his ceiling is capped. He didn't finish in the top 12 but twice last year. And he doesn't have much touchdown upside. Gronk and Mike Evans are the clear red zone targets. When we talk about them in our NFC South breakdown, we talked about their red zone targets, and that's taken away from Chris Godwin. Obviously, he's not a red zone threat, but still, you still want him to get involved in that. And Gronk and Evans are the clear go-to in the red zone there for Brady. So I don't love Chris Godwin. So those are the reasons I'm kind of off of him here at this point. Like similar to Tyler Lockett, if I can get him later, a round later, if I can get him in the 5th round, I'll take him there. But not here in the 4th. I think it's just a little too rich because you're not going to get that consistency and you really don't have that upside. So DJ Moore is our next contestant, our next wide receiver, ADP of 39.8, wide receiver 19. Last year, he finished as a wide receiver 21. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I love DJ Moore, the talent. He has tremendous upside. But the highest, and this is what kills me, is his quarterback. The highest fantasy finish by a wide receiver that had Sam Darnold at QB was wide receiver 31. And that was Jamison Crowder back in 2019. I'm out. I'm not touching DJ Moore. I'm not touching DJ Moore. 6th round, I'll take him. He's not falling there, but 6th round, I'll take DJ Moore as I guess you could say a flyer, a late flex option, but I'm out on DJ Moore. So Cooper Kupp, one of my favorite guys here in this breakdown, in this round, ADP of 40.1, wide receiver 20. Last year, he finished as the wide receiver 27. He upgraded at his quarterback. He's got Matt Stafford thrown to him, and they also lost Cam Akers in the offseason. So that'll help, I think, with the passing game. I think they're going to pass a little bit more now that they don't have Akers. Yes, they have Henderson and Xavier Jones and Jake Funk and all those guys, but it's not the same. Cam Akers, we all knew it. We all expected it. He was going to burst on the scene this year, and it's just not going to happen. I think that's going to be the benefit of the LA Rams wide receivers. He only had, and last year, one reason why he finished wide receiver 27, he only had 3 touchdowns. And that was by far the lowest of his career. He's got a tremendous upside, but a safe floor, and I love it. The biggest debate I feel like I've had, since, not the biggest, but one of the biggest, is who do I take, Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp? Ever since Matt Stafford went there, they were originally earlier in the season or off season, they were pretty close in ADP. They were drafted around the same. At one point, they were going back to back. And to be honest, it's Kupp. It's Kupp. You're grabbing Woods in the 3rd round, a whole round more or earlier, or you can grab Kupp with the same amount of upside, in the 4th. And I'm a value guy. I like value. So Cooper Kupp here in the 4th is magnificent. So magnificent. David Montgomery, probably this is my 2nd favorite grab in this round. ADP of 41.1, RB 18. Last year, he finished as the running back 4. Now, people are going to say, and we knew it, if you're new to fantasy this year and you didn't really participate or watch last year, David Montgomery had the easiest last 5-6 games, finished as a top 10 running back week in and week out for the last 5 to 6 weeks. He had a very, very easy schedule. But that's why he's going this late. Everybody thinks that, that's the only reason why he was fantasy relevant. And yes, it is why he finished as high as he did. And I don't think that's repeatable. But he's going to get those 15 plus touches a game. And that's huge. That's huge in fantasy football. Obviously, more opportunity, more fantasy points is really what it comes down to. And Matt Nagy, the head coach of the Bears, even said they would get it, and they want to, but they would get it to hand the ball off to David Montgomery 20 times a game if they could. That's the goal. It's what he said. So I don't think he'll get it 20 times a game personally, but he is capable of it. He's run the ball over 240 times the first 2 years of his career. I do see him eclipsing 250 this year. And to be honest, he may even push 275, 290. 300, I think, is a little out there, maybe with the extra added game. But I love Montgomery here, getting all the work there, especially if they go to Justin Fields, somebody that Justin Fields can rely on. And David Montgomery has shown he's also, he can catch the ball too. So I love David Montgomery here. And if I can grab him as my third running back, even a second running back, I wouldn't be upset. But if I'm going RB heavy, I'd love to grab David Montgomery. I'd even grab him in the late third. That's how much faith I have in David Montgomery. So Ja'Marr Chase, our next guy up, ADP of 42.6, wide receiver 21. Another guy, I'm going to leave it short and sweet. I love the talent, and he's going to be a baller in the future, just not this year, okay? The hype around him and Burrow being college teammates is really boosted his ADP. That's it. And, he is a spectacular talent. But there's really two reasons why I'm staying away from Ja'Marr Chase this year. One, at this ADP, there's other receiving options on this team. Higgins, Boyd, and you got Mixon who can catch it out of the backfield. Those guys are not slouches. And then also people are kind of forgetting he hasn't played an organized game of football in over a year. He took last year off. So he's going to shake some rust off, and to be spending up wide receiver 21 as the wide receiver 21, it's not who I am. I don't want to take all risk. Yes, there is some reward to be had potentially. But it's not, nothing's certain, but it's not probable. So in my opinion, I think he's going to have good years a good year up and down. But I don't think it's going to be predictable, and I could eat my words, but I'm staying away from him at this point. Moving on, Miles Sanders, ADP of 45.5, running back 19. Last year finished as the running back 23. And to be honest, another guy I'm fading. It really comes down to this. Nick Sirianni won't even commit to Jalen Hurts as the starter yet. Plus, on top of that, you're getting reports that Boston Scott is splitting time with Miles Sanders, with the first team, during training camp, when there were reports that Boston Scott might not even make the team next year. So it's getting more and more possible and probable that he's going to be splitting time. And I don't want that with my running back too. He's shown that he has that upside and has that ability to be the bell cow. And whether it's him or his coaches, it just hasn't happened yet. He hasn't carried the ball yet in his career over 200 times. He has not rushed the ball over 200 times yet. So I'm off of Sanders right now. I'd rather grab a wide receiver in this round if I'm being honest. And I am a heavy RB kind of guy, but at this point, I'd rather grab a wide receiver. Moving on, we've got T. Higgins. That is Ja'Marr Chase's teammate there in Cincinnati, currently going ADP of 45.8, wide receiver 22, and last year finished as the wide receiver 28. Had the Bengals not drafted Ja'Marr Chase, it would be Higgins season. I love T. Higgins. I think he is and was and potentially will be one of the best receivers, fantasy receivers, top 15 for years to come, top 12 even. But they drafted Ja'Marr Chase. They still have Tyler Boyd. They still have Joe Mixon. I just, catching out of the backfield. His upside is a mid wide receiver too. That's his upside. And to be drafting him so close to his upside, I don't like that. I actually currently have him as the wide receiver 28 where he finished last year. So I'm not going to be taking him. If I can get him later on, 5th, 6th round, I'll be all over that. But I'm just not here, not in the 4th round, not where his current ADP is. Praying, hoping that maybe the Ja'Marr Chase hype continues. T falls a bit. That's kind of my prayer. Like I said, love T, but just not right now where he's going. Kyle Pitts, ADP of 46.9, tight end 4. We talked a lot about him in the NFC South breakdown. I love Pitts, and I think he finishes here at tight end 4, but taking a shot on him in the 4th round, he's kind of slipped up the board a little bit and a little out of my reach. There is some uncertainty. I'm fairly confident that he's going to see over 100 targets or right at 100 targets in that Falcons offense, but there's still some talent here that I would much rather have a little safer, maybe not as much upside, and you won't get that same the same advantage per se. If you were to grab another tight end, a late round tight end versus Kyle Pitts, Kyle Pitts has the ability to put up massive games. Whereas if you go a tight end a little bit later, you're not going to have that same roster advantage. So, but being that he is pumped up this high, I'm not on Kyle Pitts right now. 5th round again, if I can solidify my wide receiver 2 here, or even a running back 3, this round, and then grab Kyle Pitts later, the next round, then I'm all over it. But the hype around Kyle Pitts has kind of boosted him up. And for a rookie tight end to come into the league, I was hoping he'd stay below Mark Andrews. That was my goal. That was my hope. It's not working out right now. But we'll see as time goes on, where he, finishes or goes. To be honest, I think he just continues to rise, in my opinion. I think so. So let's go. We've got 2 more. The next guy is Adam Thielen, ADP of 47.5, wide receiver 23, which is crazy because he finished as a wide receiver 8 last year. Biggest reason why is he had 14 touchdowns. I don't see that happening again. I talked about it in my round 2 breakdown when I talked about Justin Jefferson. I don't foresee Thielen getting those, 14 receiving touchdowns again. I think it's unrealistic. But what I do see being realistic is he's going to see over 100 targets. And to be honest, we've seen it. His upside is a top 10 wide receiver. I mean, we just saw it last year. So yes, the upside is there. Realistically, though, I have him finishing literally as the mid wide receiver 2. I have him finishing at wide receiver 18. So taking him at wide receiver 23, I love it. I love it here. So he's a guy I'm actively targeting here in this round. So, and finally, Deontay Johnson, ADP of 48.7, back end of the 4th round, wide receiver 24. Last year finished as a wide receiver 22. The volume alone is going to make him a wide receiver 2. I mean, you saw over 140 targets last year. And to be honest, I think he sees over 150. Yes, he did, struggle with the dropsies, and news out of camp is he has dropped a few and whatnot, but he's working on it, and he's still going to get the targets. He's the safest Steeler to draft, in my opinion, this year, just due to the target share. Big Ben loves throwing to him. And when you have 10 games with double-digit targets, 10 out of 15 games with double-digit targets, it's not a coincidence. Ben loves throwing it to him. Even when Mason Rudolph was in there, had double-digit targets. So in PPR and a half PPR, full PPR, I am all over Deontay Johnson. These are half PPR rankings. So I love Deontay Johnson. Grab him at the back end of the 4th. And real quick, just for you guys, because I was like, I talk about all these guys I'm fading, in this round, and guys I love too. I want to rank them for you, so you kind of get the idea of where I'm at, where my tier breaks are, and things like that. So this is how I would rank them in order. All these 12 players that I just named or talked about. First overall, Chris Carson, love him. He's going to the beginning of the 4th. So most of you, unless you have that first pick in the 4th round, probably don't have a shot on him. But Chris Carson, David Montgomery, he's going mid to higher end of the round. So you could have a shot on him. Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen. So he's going at the back of the 4th. You could reach a little bit for him if you want to go wide receiver. Deontay Johnson, another guy he's the last guy in the 4th round. After that, I'll go Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Miles Sanders, and DJ Moore. Yeah, I put DJ Moore down there. Yeah. So, but anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is my round 4 breakdown. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, drop them in the comments below. Also, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and hit that little bell. Podcast listeners, if you could rate and review us, it would be much appreciated. Also, Discord link Discord link to join our Discord. We talk about fantasy football and everything like that. Gambling and this and that and the third, other sports talk. That link is going to be in the description of this video and podcast. So thank you guys so much for listening, tuning in. I love you.